Alright guys, and as you can probably guess, both by what's pulled up on my phone at the moment, and if you've been on any form of social media, whether it be like YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, what have you, of course everyone, the TCG side of Yu-Gi-Oh! Has been blowing up like crazy because apparently we got hit with our new TCG ban list while I was at work today. Kind of figured this out because usually whenever I do these like ban list discussion videos, I like to have, I guess, a live like first reaction of the changes to the Forbidden and Limited list. So I try to stay away from social media as much as possible, but I figured we had gotten hit with the ban list because, like, me and my friends from locals, our little group chat, I had gotten my first break from work and came back to like 89 notifications, which was insane. So I was like, this can only mean we've gotten hit with our ban list. And then I try to stay away through Facebook as much as possible, but like scrolling through like your timeline and like your Facebook news feed, whenever like 95% of it is like Yu-Gi-Oh! Related groups, and of course when a new ban list comes out with the TCG, everybody's like losing their minds. So I kind of saw maybe one or two cards that were changed on the list, but I didn't see their actual like position or placement on the list, like whether they've gone to 1 or gone to 2 or whatever. So this won't be like 100% like genuine, but it'll kind of give you guys an idea. So I guess we'll go ahead and focus on the first card that is banned, which is Magic Spectre Unicorn Kirin. Okay, so this is a card a lot of people were asking to be hit for a while, and a lot of people anticipated this to be hit just because Kirin's splashable in like the Magic Spectre engine, easily splashable in any Pendulum deck that sees relevance. The main one being Metal Foes right now. Having Banbuku that can just deck in and search a copy of itself. But also being able to search an easily untargetable Compulse, which like cripples a lot of different decks. It's just really, really frustrating. So this card was something that I guess a lot of people looked forward to. And then the newly limited card is the Tyrant Neptune, which is kind of understandable because the OCG just got this card from 3 to banned. But I guess this is kind of in preparation for the Lyrical Lucinia Degenerate Burn combo, so that's kind of understandable. And that's it for the monsters, nothing on the spells, and something on the traps. We have Vanity's Emptiness, which is now banned. This was a card a lot of people were like begging to be banned, just because all you have to do is make a semi-decent board in this in your opening hand, you set this, and you basically auto-win against a lot of decks, which kind of sucked because I did play it in a couple of different decks, but this is something a lot of people honestly look forward to just because it's a really unfair floodgate in a lot of people's opinions. Then the card that was semi-limited is now at 1 is Maxi. This is another card that a lot of people kind of wanted to get hit just because they said it was an unfair card that gave you a lot of draws. But personally, in my opinion, I don't think the card should have been semi-limited just because the only card that can really search it is Retaliating Sea, and that card never really sees play other than like in random plant decks. Like a Naturia Traptrix deck is the only deck I've honestly seen like actually play Retaliating Sea. But a lot of people just didn't like this card because if you try to set up a decent board and they drop Maxi on you, you either have to make a subpar turn and give them a decent amount of card advantage, and at least give them a 1-for-1 or +1 or what have you. But this was kind of what kept a lot of decks in check pre-link format, in my opinion. Just because that's honestly the way a lot of decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! Are going right now, is if they win the dice roll, they can just make an quote-unquote unbreakable board that just kind of really debilitates your opponent's ability to play the game. And then they just go to next turn and proceed to finish you off. So this is a card that honestly didn't need to get hit, in my opinion, but I have no say-so in the matter. The changes have already been made. And the next one I can already see is Rescue Cat. This is one a lot of people saw coming. I'm pretty sure Brionac and Imperial Order are also going to be on here, just because we've already gotten leaks of the Duelist Saga reprints with the errata effects. And yep, there it is. Brionac Dragon the Ice Barrier Limited was forbidden. And then a small card that was forbidden is Brain Control. That's also a card that got the errata, to my understanding, in Duelist Saga. Same with Future Fusion. I'm not 100% sure if that gets an errata in Duelist Saga, but if we don't, we basically have Future Fusion back, which is kind of cool. But I think it did get an errata in the OCG, to my understanding. And then the last forbidden card is, yeah, Imperial Order. Not really much to say there. Some new cards that are semi-limited are Wisdom Eye Magician, which is kind of interesting to see them, like, hit this card, and I'm 95% sure they waited a format, or waited a ban list, and then put it back to 2 because like Odd Eyes Magician was like, I guess, a strong tier 2 deck at the most at their time. Trying to remember what was relevant. I know it was like it was like Pepe, and then it was just like straight pendulums. But it's kind of neat to see that this card went back to 2, so I guess the Magician, or the Pendulum Magician engine kind of gets a little bit of support, which is pretty neat. Then the new card that's newly semi-limited is Zodiac Rapier, which is really interesting because a lot of people really didn't anticipate Zodiacs to get this early on because we've only had them for a couple of months, but I guess Konami figured out how rampant the Zoo engine was. So hitting the card to 2 doesn't exactly hurt it as much, you just can't go willy-nilly and make like insane boards. And then the next card that's semi-limited is Interrupted Kaiju Slumber, which kind of sucks, but it's not really that much of an issue. It kind of does hurt the Kaiju engine that a lot of decks splashed in just because it gave them a good defensive play to effectively break their opponent's board turn 1 if they just make all these like crazy boss monsters that just kind of tell you can't play Yu-Gi-Oh! Which also really sucks because I was planning on giving you guys a Kaiju Super High Samurai deck profile. 2 of the cards which on this list were actually hit, so I will have to mention that in the deck profile. I just didn't really get around to it, but it's kind of interesting to see it kind of go to 2. We'll see how that goes down. But yeah, it is basically a Dark Hole that also searches a Kaiju next turn, which is pretty interesting. But a lot of people really wanted that card to get hit as well. Another card that's no longer on the list is Sandgan. This was something a lot of people anticipated because it was forbidden, and it did get the errata all the way back in, I want to say it was Rivals of the Pharaoh. One of the duelist packs. It was either that or Millennium Packet actually was printed with the errata. And of course, with Konami the TCG being the wonderful decision-making team that they are, it took forever to put out the ban list after removing release dates, when the OCG's already gotten 2 lists by the time we've gotten this one. So yeah, just kind of, I guess, recap. Sandgan goes from 1 to 3. Kaiju Slumber goes from 3 to 2. Rapier goes from 3 to 2. Was My Magician goes from 1 to 2. Imperial Order goes from banned to 1. Also, Brain Control and Future Fusion were banned and go to 1. Same with Bryanak and Rescue Cat. And then also Max C goes to 1 from 2. And then the forbidden cards are Vanity's Emptiness. Where is it? The Tyrant, Neptune, and Magic Unicorn Kieran. So all in all, a really interesting ban list. It does keep a couple of decks in check that are out at the moment. Obviously, like, the main one people worry about is like the Kaiju Zodiac deck, of course, having 2 Rapiers and 2 Kaiju Slumbers now, which I'm sure obviously it's not going to hurt the deck that bad. It's just not going to be like 100% as consistent as it was. And then if the deck still is relevant, of course, they're going to more than likely get the OCG treatment and absolutely get slaughtered by having Rapier banned, Trident banned, and Barrage banned, which is like obviously their core engine. Without that, they effectively can't play the way they usually function. The Max C being hit to 1 kind of sucks because a lot of decks did play that card at 2, but it's honestly just now going to, honestly in my opinion, it may go the same way as Vanity's Emptiness, where of course it's at 3 and it runs rampant, and then Konami hits it to 2, still see relevance, and then gets hit to 1, and then kind of gets the same treatment, just goes to banned eventually. Because you guys remember, a lot of you players will remember back in Cleve format when we had the pre-errata lose 1 turn, 3 Scouts, Towers Turbo, 3 Vanity's Emptiness. You guys remember playing through that format? Yeah, those were good times that we just kind of tend to forget. But yeah, that's basically it for my, I guess, quick little ban list reaction video. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. And as always, thank you for watching, and I will catch you guys later.